Hey guys, welcome to episode 2 of building a no-nonsense Forex algorithm. Now, this isn't trading advice, it's just purely me showing you how I build a no-nonsense Forex algorithm. What you do with that information is your responsibility. In this episode, I'll be focusing on how to test possible C2s against your C1. And so the C1 I've chosen is absolute strength histogram from the first episode. And the reason I chose ASH over QQE, even though they have similar win rates and trades, is because the absolute strength time frame gets into trends a little slower than QQE. And when you're looking at long trends, you'll see that some of them have pullback periods. And I want to avoid these. So obviously getting into trends a bit slower helps with this. So from backtesting our C1, we should know or have a feel for how our C1 reacts to different market types and currencies. But let's go over this quickly so we know what we're actually looking for in a C2. Now firstly, we know that our C1 gets us into those long trades. What we want our C2 to do is filter out the losing trades. So looking at ASH, we can see that during non-trending or sideways markets, it tends to flip a lot and give a lot of false signals. And we also know that the C2 is not our only filter. We'll also have volume and our baseline to help filter out these trades. So what we could be looking for is possibly a slower C2 that gets us out of some of the losing trades. And if our win rate goes up, that means it's getting us out of more losses than it is getting us out of winners, which is what we want. So we can set out our indicators how we did our C1 backtesting. Have the C1 underneath price, and then however many C2s we want to test. I do a maximum of 3. In this video, I have the volatility quality zero line super smoother, the JTPO velocity, and the CCI. All indicators are on default. The only thing I've changed is the levels of the CCI are at 20 and negative 20 instead of using the zero line. Now all we have to do is exactly how we tested our C1s firstly. With the quick backtest, we see which C2s keep us in the most long trends that the C1 is getting us into. So we zoom out to about a year, look for the longest 1 or 2 trends in that year, and see if our C2 agrees when our C1 wants us to enter the trade. Do that for the same amount of years that we tested our C1 on. In my case, that's the 1st of the 1st of 2017 to the 1st of the 1st of 2021. 4 years. And once we've done that test for VPs 5, we'll know which C2s are more likely to help our algos be more profitable in the long run. And then finally we do the normal backtest, which is only good for one thing. What is it? Comparing. And if you didn't remember that, you can give yourself a recap in the first few minutes of episode 1. So now we should have the backtesting results, which is the win rate and trades that each C2 gives us. And we know which C2s will let us enter into those long trends. With this information, we can determine which C2 will help us build the algo we want to build. For example, CCI agreed with our C1 the most out of all the C2s, which meant it got us into most of those long trends, but also agreed with a lot of the false signals, which is evident from the smaller win rate than the other C2 combos. But the reason to choose CCI is that we can still add the volume and the baseline to filter out a lot of those false signals, and still could have a good amount of trades. Now, volatility quality and JTPO both had higher win rates and around the same amount of trades to each other. If we were to pick one of these as the C2, we would have to find a volume that agrees with most of the trades and only takes out a couple of losers, just so that we have a viable amount of trades. One thing to also take into consideration is adding 1 candle rule trades and also baseline trades, which with a solid filtering system would give us enough trades to be viable or profitable. So I haven't decided which C2 I will continue with yet, but I am leaning towards CCI just to keep it interesting. Thank you for watching. I hope this video benefited you in some way. If there's anyone that you think may benefit from this series, please share it with them. And don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, or any critiques or feedback would be much appreciated. See you guys next week.